I always had a relationship with property. I was with my dad when I was 5 years old, looking at houses, going around with him, and I really didn't know what was going on. But a month or two later, we'd be back at that house that he'd obviously bought in hindsight, and he was telling me to rip out bathtubs and take tiles off walls, and I was always in that hands-on sort of mode with real estate, and I actually enjoyed that because it was good fun time to spend with my dad. And so this is the greatest upbringing I ever could have had. And when one day I was walking past this sort of shopping center, I looked in and I saw a real estate office. Had an interesting sort of logo, it wasn't one of the big brands. And I walked in one day and I started talking to a guy in there. His name was Rob Ford. And he had this excitement about him. He was actually quite a young guy. He was basically about the same age as me. But he was just extremely confident in himself, and he carried himself like he was 40 years old. Like he seemed so mature, it was crazy. And then I met a couple of other guys in there, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to get into real estate. I want to do this business. So, I went through the whole thing, got the course done, got it out of the way, basically got the paperwork out of the way and got the license. And then when I got into the business, I had no idea that I'd be out knocking on doors. I was walking through, a low socioeconomic area, and I was knocking on doors, meeting people. Within 2 days, I had listed my first property. I found the listing on the first day, and on the second day, literally listed it. It's a little bit of a different market today. People don't tend to list that quickly with someone that's just come out of, basically getting their license. But I kind of just carried myself in the best way I could possibly do to generate that confidence from the vendor. Within 3 weeks, I had closed the deal. And I remember just before the contract was signed, I'm like, I'm gonna make like $10,000 here. The commission split wasn't so high. It wasn't a very high price property, but I was like, I'm gonna make $10,000 just like that. And literally after that, I was just like, I need to work really hard in this business because you can do a lot. So fast forward to now, many years of listing and selling the Lower North Shore, and many years of buying real estate myself, and many years of dealing with investors in some way, shape or form. But then in 2020, me and Brett Devonish, my partner for Brisbane Property Deals, decided that we were just gonna formalize what we've already been doing. And we just wanted to go out and then make a business where we help buyers purchase property more than one time, make them, extremely wealthy through building a massive portfolio. Technically, I am a buyer's agent because I represent the buyer. I've done years and years of selling as a listing and selling agent and sold multiple $1 million properties, and thousands of different properties have been sold through me and my team. So the wealth of knowledge of real estate's there, and I think that the deal doing of a buyer's agent is so important. A lot of people don't understand that it's so important to be a salesperson when you're a buyer's agent, and a lot of people don't understand this part, but the reason it's so important is because ultimately you've got to convince people to work with you and convince people to take your offer. So there's a lot of sales involved in it. I know that there's a lot of buyer's agents that are out there that they basically just, do the business as in they bought multiple properties with whatever their job was. Let's say they were an accountant. Let's say that they were working in construction, or, making money in the mines, or doing something like that. I know that there's an array of jobs that people can do that make them a lot of money. And then they go buy real estate and they get super rich and they quit that and they want to tell other people how they did it. And I think it's great. But the fact is what makes us so effective at doing deals and being so sharp and so precise with what we do is the fact that we are salespeople. We've listed and sold property all our lives. That's been my only job. It's my career. I mean, that means sitting in lounge rooms, having that conversation. That means going to the vendor's house at 10 o'clock at night, even 11 o'clock at night, roughing up your hair and saying, this is the best we can do. Like that is the old listing and selling game, and it's still the same. So we know that inside out. We know that business and that core conversation that's going to ensue when we're making offers on properties. And it's not something that you can tell your average person and just have them completely understand it. They may understand it, of course. It's not highly complicated, but it is difficult. That's the thing. So that is a big thing that really is a big factor for us. And obviously, myself and Brett, we've bought properties, we've done deals together. We've got a whole background in project management and doing project marketing as well. So we know the ins and outs of creating product, taking it back to the market, which is a huge process in between all that. And we have segmented roles essentially in the organization. My job is simply sitting in front of a computer screen that's 49 inches long and just looking at deal after deal after deal. I spend my every waking minute doing that. I'm very good at finding deals. I'm very good at prospecting. I'm very good at recognizing a deal when I see it and I know the ins and outs. But Brett Devonish really knows real estate in Queensland. He knows the product. Sold 100 properties a year for years in Queensland. He knows his stuff. He's very, very good. And you'll notice that when you have a meeting with us. So look, I urge you, if you're interested in working with us, we have a philosophy here that if you sign with us, we've got your back for life.